Good evening and welcome to the podcast Committed. I am here with Peyton Moya and Coach Jason from Powerhouse Mechanics. Now, full disclosure, me and Peyton go back quite a few years. Got a chance to see her kind of grow up under the Mercado organization, seeing her blossom into a young woman that's not only a fantastic softball player, but a wrestler and somebody that's going to do something good, whatever she decides to do. Peyton, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Good to see you. Good to see you. And also, we have Coach Jason as always, and he's going to tell us just a little bit about Peyton before we go ahead and ask her question. So, Jason, why don't you go ahead and let me know how you first met this young lady and some of the growth you've seen in her over the years?
I'm not quite sure how Peyton and her family found me as far as a pitching coach. But I do remember the first time she came to a lesson, and she was 4 foot something. And I think she was a 9-year old playing on Mercado, a 10U team. So she was a first year 10 playing on a second year 10s team. Peyton has always been, I would say, ahead of her time in regards of just her work ethic, her intensity. I would say, as far as when she came in, obviously she was super athletic. Just, there wasn't a lot to do as far as like teaching her. It was more about just getting her to understand herself, not understand pitching. And I think once she understood that, I think that's kind of like when she kind of took off. She was working on throwing rise balls and curve balls and things like that at the age of 9. And everybody gave her some flack for it, like, why are you doing that? Da 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 da. And then when she got into her second year 10s, I mean, she was throwing legit breaking pitches, but that's because she didn't listen to the noise. Everybody wanted to tell her what they thought she should have done. She just kept with the program, and now she's like one of the top 10 pitchers in the country in her age group.
Awesome. Awesome. That sounds good. Now, Peyton, again, like I said, we go back quite a ways, and obviously, I've seen your work ethic on the field. I've seen kind of a little bit of what you've done in other sports. But tell me, what kind of training do you do outside of the normal practices that you guys have?
Well, since I'm not in California a lot where my team is, a lot of my work is done like by myself and at home. And thankfully, like since I do have high school season, I'm able to get those regular bullpens. Like Jason said, I've become aware of myself, like so I'm able to adjust myself and what I see and what I feel with my pitches. So a lot of it is just like self work, like multiple repetition.
Nice, nice. And we talked a little bit about your travel organization. You are with Athletic Mercado, and it's the Hovermill team as of now. And so you have been with that program for a long time. But why don't you tell me a little bit about your high school? I know you packed up from California, and you and the family moved out to the great state of Texas. So tell me a little bit about your high school.
I really like my high school. It's very different from what California is. Like, it's a pretty big high school. It's busy. I was fortunate to be on varsity as a freshman, which nobody likes the freshmen on varsity. Like,
Uh,
it's whatever.
yep.
But it was fun, like, to be playing these older girls. I got to play like girls who were committed and like the challenge and like the different like fit people that I got to see was really fun.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now, so again, Peyton, you are a class of 2027. So you're kind of at that ripe little age where you can go out, you can go to showcases, but you can't really talk to every level of college coaches, but you can kind of go and put yourself out there. What are some of the schools that are kind of on the top of your radar? Again, not giving any information, but what is your dream school? Let's start there.
Um, my dream school would probably be something in the like southern region. Like I do like Baylor. It's a really pretty campus.
Yeah.
It's like gorgeous. The coaches and the players there are very nice. Like that would probably be one of my top schools. But honestly, I would love to do any school that would let me get a good education for what I want to do further in life.
Awesome, awesome. Now you got a chance to be a part of the activity that we had last week, where it was the Civil War, where Coach Jason set it up, and I got a chance to witness it. It was pretty tremendous. Where you guys got to face live batters, we had umpires. Tell me a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, that was really fun. Very different from normal camps, but
Yeah.
just being able to face those live batters and have umpires, which you don't have normally, it was really fun. And I even got to have my own catcher, so I felt like more at home and more comfortable in my pitching.
Awesome. That's excellent. That's excellent. So now again, I do know a lot of your coaches. Do you have, and you've been trained by some of the best coaches, not only on your travel organization with Coach Jason and some that you work with. Is there a coach that brings just good thoughts? I'm gonna exclude Coach Jason from this mix. So with the exception of
Just so his feelings don't get hurt.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Jason's a big guy, but he's sensitive sometimes. So we want to make sure we spare him. So besides Coach Jason, do you have a coach that you've worked with that's kind of stood out to you, that's kind of left an impression on you?
Definitely, I would say Coach Potter. He's a fun guy. Like, obviously, he's the coach at the end of the day. Like, he's grumpy sometimes. He like honestly like he will build you up. Like, even if you are having a bad day, like he will always have something to say, something that you can improve on. And at the end of the day, that he says stuff that it sucks to hear, but I need to hear. Like, it's just advice that you just have to hear sometimes.
That's important to me and Coach Jason. We've talked about that. There's coaches that are going to tell you what you want to hear, just like people that give lessons that are going to tell your parents what you want to hear. Then it's going to be coaches that tell you what you need to hear, and
Yeah.
that's wisdom on your part, Peyton, to be able to see that because a lot of young ladies and a lot of parents can't see that. They think it's always hating, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's constructive criticism, and so that's important. Peyton, we are talking about getting committed to different colleges and all that stuff, but up until now, you've had a long softball career. Do you have a moment that stands out, a favorite moment, whether it's hanging out with girls or big game or anything?
I did have a big game. I think it was the first year Alliance was open. My team played Athletics Mercado Bustamante, which at the time was one of our biggest competitors. It was our
That's
sister
rival.
team, and it was just kind of like, who's the better Mercado team? Like that constant fight and that push. And we went into that game. I think it was quarterfinals. Like we were close to the top. We went into that game. Everyone was so hyped, so excited because it the game just brought us joy. And we ended up winning that game. And the energy and the excitement around our players, like I was pitching and I was probably like stomping, pointing, like I was going crazy. It was just such a fun game. And like to this day, I still remember the energy. Like it's just a game that I can't top.
That's awesome. Those are incredible games. Like I said, those are the teams. They're your sister teams. It's teams that practice together, and when you're not facing them, you cheer for them. But obviously, you always want to be big sister or little sister, however you want to say it. Um,
Yes.
One last question, Peyton, before we let you go. What do you listen to kind of get ready to pitch? You're going to take the
Oh,
mound. You got music playing. What's on your playlist right now?
my playlist is not PG if I'm saying that.
Oh, well, I happen to know Peyton's mom and dad as well, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'll,
Eh,
I'll edit this part out. I'm sure she has some peachy stuff on there somewhere.
Some sexy
eh.
red.
Hey, she's on the top of my playlist. I love
I
her.
know.
You know what's interesting? I have rules for my kids off the field and then on the field. So I was actually on the field today, and not my daughter, but another kid. She let a bomb go, and I'm like, all right, you were on the field. Now off the field, I don't want to hear that. So that's
Yes.
interesting to hear. So cool, cool, cool. All right, Jason, any departing words for Peyton before we sign off on her?
Nope. It's just good to see you again. And I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Awesome, awesome. So again, Peyton, we appreciate it. Like I said, it's always good to see you. I know I saw you the other day, and every time I see you, you're growing into a lovely young woman and still a beast in the circle. So super happy for you, and we're excited for your future.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.